Well, I wish I could give you a definite answer. The president has already come back on Twitter saying that reports of what Bolton said are inaccurate, that any change has been exaggerated. I think the best way to solve this problem is the president himself gave a full speech, not just brief remarks on the web, and really explained the entirety of the policy and what he has in mind. Well, I mean, we can always get those troops out ultimately. Part of it is the overall strategic challenge that they have been playing a very important role in completing the defeat of the Islamic State, which is still active, which, according to Pentagon estimates, still has tens of thousands of fighters that are affiliated with it. They're still inflicting a lot of casualties on our Kurdish partners in Syria. So we would be moving out while there is still ongoing fighting. And the question is, what would we be leaving behind to help take care of the continuing Islamic State threat? And part of that revolves around diplomacy in Syria, in Turkey this week, where U.S. senior officials are. You know, the number the president often cites is that around 99% of the territory controlled by ISIS has been taken. And that is true. That's a very important move forward, and the administration deserves credit for that. But, you know, one of the lessons we have is that when an insurgency stops controlling much territory, it can still exist as a fairly potent guerrilla organization. And if it's given breathing room, it can come right back the way that extremists did after the U.S. withdrawal from Iraq under Barack Obama. So we could probably within a year get to a situation where ISIS is sort of tamped down. I think it would be hard to get to a situation where we don't need any troops left in place to keep it from coming back. I think they might just be confused at the moment. I mean, it's very hard even for a lot of U.S. government officials to figure out what the policy is. We've seen several different timelines cited by the president and his advisors, and that creates a lot of lack of clarity about our ultimate goals. I think for good reason, the Israelis have reasons to be concerned. You know, one of the reasons that Syria is such a big issue is that is what Iran is using to ship weapons to Hezbollah, to its Syrian partners, which ultimately could be used, and in some respects already have been used, against Israel. And those could be increasingly precise weapons that target Israeli military facilities and civilians. And of course, our Kurdish partners within Syria have shed a tremendous amount of blood fighting Islamic State right by our side. And if we leave without making a clear path for them to survive and coexist with hostile parties, they could be in a lot of trouble.